The bright lights of Los Angeles cast a golden glow over the city, illuminating the endless streets filled with dreamers, artists, and wanderers chasing their ambitions. Among the city's most recognized names was Selena Gomez, global superstar, adored by millions, a voice that had comforted countless hearts. Yet, beneath the flashing cameras and sold-out arenas, there were moments of silence. Moments when she felt like just Selena, the girl from Texas who had once wondered if she'd ever make it. That night, after a grueling day at rehearsals, she stepped into her home, the soft hum of the city barely audible through the massive glass windows of her penthouse. She placed her keys on the marble countertop and reached for a glass of water when something unusual caught her eye. A plain white envelope sat alone on the table. There was no sender, no branding, just a single handwritten note on the front. "Once you read this, everything will change." Selena's brows furrowed. She had received thousands of letters before, but something about this one felt different. It wasn't a fan package, nor was it an invitation. It was personal. She hesitated, her fingers grazing the flap before slowly tearing it open. The moment her eyes landed on the first words, she felt a chill run down her spine. The letter started like a diary entry. "There was a time when I thought the world had given up on me. My mother and I struggled every day just to make it through. Some nights, we didn't even have a place to sleep. But then, I found your music." Selena's heart skipped a beat. She took a shaky breath, gripping the paper tighter. "Your songs weren't just melodies to me, Selena. They were lifelines. They were the only thing keeping me from falling into the darkness completely. Every time I felt like giving up, your voice reminded me to keep going. And because of you, I did." Her hands trembled slightly as she turned to the next page. The letter went on, revealing memories of a young girl who had lost her father at an early age, who had watched her mother work tirelessly to keep them afloat, who had learned how to survive in a world that often felt unforgiving. Selena swallowed hard. It was as if she was reading about her own past. And then, at the bottom of the page, a name was signed, Emma Carter. Beneath it, an address. Selena's breath caught in her throat. This wasn't just a thank you note. This was a call for something more. She barely slept that night. The words lingered in her mind, playing over and over like lyrics to a song she couldn't forget. The next morning, before doubt could change her mind, she made a decision. She had to find Emma. The address led her to a small cafe nestled between older brick buildings, far from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. A bell jingled softly as Selena pushed open the door, the scent of fresh coffee and warm pastries filling the air. Her heart pounded. What would she even say? Then she saw her. Sitting by the window, completely unaware of who had just stepped into the cafe, was Emma. She was young, early 20s, maybe. Her brown hair was tucked behind her ears, and she sipped on a cup of coffee while flipping through a book. There was a quiet strength about her, a resilience in the way she sat, but also a certain weight in her eyes. Selena took a breath and stepped forward. "Emma?" The girl froze, her cup hovering just above the table before she slowly looked up. The moment their eyes met, her breath hitched. You're... Selena smiled gently, pulling out the letter from her bag and placing it on the table. "I wanted to meet you," she said softly. "Your letter, it moved me more than you can imagine." Emma's hands trembled as she covered her mouth, her eyes filling with tears. I don't understand," she stammered. "How did you?" Selena pulled out a chair and sat across from her, warmth in her gaze. "Because you reminded me of something I almost forgot," she admitted. "Of why I started singing in the first place." Emma wiped at her eyes, struggling to find words. "I never thought you'd actually read it," Selena reached across the table, squeezing her hand. I needed to. For hours, they sat in that small cafe, sharing stories that neither of them had ever spoken aloud to anyone else. Emma told Selena about the nights she spent on park benches with her mother, listening to her songs through a cheap pair of headphones. How, even in the darkest times, those lyrics became her anchor. And Selena? She shared the struggles behind the stage lights, the pressure, the loneliness, the moments of self-doubt that even fame couldn't erase. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, Emma shook her head with disbelief. I don't get it, she said. You're Selena Gomez. You don't need to be here. Why did you come? Selena smiled, her voice quiet but firm. Because I wanted to remind you of something, she said. You survived. And now? Now, you get to write your own story. A tear slipped down Emma's cheek. I don't know where to start. Selena squeezed her hand once more. Then let's start here. That meeting wasn't just an encounter between a celebrity and a fan. It was proof that music, words, and connection could change lives. Selena walked away that day with a renewed sense of purpose. It wasn't about the fame. It wasn't about the awards. It was about the people. From that day on, she made a silent promise to herself. She wouldn't just make music to entertain. She would make music to heal, to inspire, to give hope. At every concert after that, she shared the same message. To anyone listening, know this: you are not alone. Things will get better. We can lift each other up. And with that, Selena Gomez continued not just as a singer, but as a voice of hope in a world that needed it. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories. Do you think something like this could really happen to Selena? Share your thoughts in the comments below.